Well, come back, students. Come back to my study. In the first lesson of this poem, we have talked about the poet's life, his art of writing. We have discussed the theme of his poem, the presentation scheme, and the synopsis of the poem. These are all about introductions, you may say. After that, we have read the first 4 lines of the poem with the detailed and easy explanations. In the first quadrant, the poet has given the description of a valley with some details. And in this quadrant of the poem, the poet is giving the description of a young soldier lying down in the valley. Now we will read the poem. A soldier, very young, lies open-mouthed, a pillow made of firm beneath his head, asleep, stretched in the heavy undergrowth, pale in his warm, green, sun-soaked bed. So a soldier, very young, lies open-mouthed, a pillow made of fern beneath his head, asleep, stretched in the heavy undergrowth, pale in his warm, green, sun-soaked bed. Now, let's underline some words and phrases for the clear understanding of the poem. And there one is stretched. Stretched. Stretched means spread, means extended. And another one is undergrowth. Undergrowth means bush, bush and shrubs and grasses that grow under the big trees of a place. Bushes. Okay. And pale. Pale means colorless or discolored or not bright. Okay. So, stretched means spread, extended. Undergrowth means bushes, shrubs or grasses that grow under the big trees of a place. And pale means not bright. Pale means not glossy, colorless, discolored. Okay. Now I'll clean this. Part. Now again underline sun-soaked. Sun-soaked. That means soaked in sunlight, wet in the sunlight. Bed flooded with sunlight. The expression is again an example of alliteration. The rhyme is giving a sense of fullness. Alliteration, the S sound is repeated at the beginning of 2 words, sun and soaked. So it is called an alliteration, Okay. A soldier is very young. He lies open-mouthed. The first line, a soldier is very young. He lies open-mouthed. Line 2, a pillow made of fur is under his head. And line 3, he is asleep, but his body is stretched in the heavy undergrowth. And line 4, he looks pale in the warm green sun-soaked bed. Here the pale is a contrast. Here the picture the poet has given in the first 4 lines of this stanza octet is a bright green valley, and here the poet is giving the picture of a very young soldier who is not as bright as the valley, who is pale, discolored, grey. Okay, so these are the second four lines of the first stanza. Now see some important points for MCQs. Some important points of MCQs. That is, very young. Who is very young? The soldier. How was the soldier? The soldier was very young. This type of question you may get. So remember, the soldier was very young. Now another one, lies. He is lying. How is he lying? Answer is open mouth. Maybe you may have one question at this point, that he was lying. How was he lying? In the open mouth. And another one, a pillow. What type of pillow? A pillow which was made of fern. Which was made of fern. A pillow made of fern. It may be important. And stretched out. Where? Where did the soldier stretch out? The soldier stretched in the heavy undergrowth. Stretched in the heavy undergrowth. How is the bed? The bed is sun-soaked. The bed is green. The bed is warm. The bed is warm. The bed is green. The bed is sun-soaked. These are the few points you must remember when you read these 4 lines, particularly these 4 lines. They may be important for the purpose of your examinations. Okay, now go to the next 3 lines. First 3 lines of the sestet. Now we'll read. His feet among the flowers he sleeps. His smile is like an infant's, gentle without guile. Oh, nature, keep him warm, he may catch cold. His feet among the flowers he sleeps. His smile is like an infant's, gentle without guile. Oh, nature, keep him warm, he may catch cold. Now see these words. Guile. What do you mean by guile? Guile means deception. Deception. Guile means trickery. Deception, guile means trickery. Okay, no other word I think, so which may appear difficult to you. Now one or two expressions for literary interest. One or two expressions for literary interest. So let me clean it. The expression, his smile is like an infant's. His smile is like an infant's. It's actually a comparison between 2 objects of the same type. It's a comparison. It is not a simile. It's not a simile, a figure of speech, an ornament of language. Why it's not a simile? It's not a simile because a simile is a comparison between 2 different objects. Here the comparison is between 2 same type of objects, but a simile is a comparison between 2 different objects. Here's one example for you. He is like a pillar of the family. He is like a pillar of the family. The comparison is made between he and the pillar. He is an animate object and pillar is an inanimate object. So the comparison here is made between two different kinds of objects. So it's a simile, but here the comparison is between two objects of the same type. So it's a comparison. Understand? It's a comparison, not a simile. Another thing is very good, interesting nature. Here nature is treated here as a person. It is called personification, a figure of speech, and it is also an address. For this it is called, in figurative speech, is apostrophe. Apostrophe means address, call someone, and personification, and nature is regarded as a person. So nature, the poet is addressing, oh nature, keep him warm, he may catch cold. So nature is addressed here. So it is an apostrophe or personification also. Okay. Now the first line is saying his feet are among the flowers. He sleeps. His smile is like an infant's. Second line, like an infant's. His smile is like the smile of an infant, gentle, without any deception, trickery, without guile. And line 3, the poet requests nature to keep him warm, he may catch cold. Now some points for MCQs. His feet among where? Among the flowers. You may get one question. A question may be made from this point. For this, remember, try to remember this. His smile is like what? Very easy, but if you don't read it, this easy case will appear difficult to you in the examination hall. For this, remember this. His smile is like an infant smile. How was the smile? The smile is gentle, without guile. And who will keep him warm? Nature will keep him warm. Nature will keep him warm. Okay, these are the few points you must remember for the purpose of examinations. Okay, now read the remaining 3 lines. Lines number 12, 13 and 14. Now read. The humming insects don't disturb his rest. He sleeps in sunlight, one hand on his breast, at peace. In his side there are 2 red holes. Again, one time. The humming insects don't disturb his rest. He sleeps in sunlight, one hand on his breast, at peace. In his side there are 2 red holes. See, at peace, underline at peace. It is uttered all on a sudden, at peace. The poet seems to say, rest in peace, rest in peace. Very suggestive and very indicative. 2 red holes. 2 holes and they are red. Red suggests blood. Holes suggest holes made with bullets. It's an example of another figure of speech, and that is called metonymy. One thing is used to indicate some other thing. Here holes, the word holes is used to indicate bullet. So this is an example of metonymy. Now come back to the first line of the last stanza. The humming insects don't disturb his rest. That means the humming insects cannot disturb his rest. No one can disturb him. Line number 2. He sleeps in sunlight, one hand on his breast. He sleeps in sunlight. He has kept one hand on his breast. Line 3, he is at peace. He is resting in peace. In his side there are 2 red holes, marks of bullets. Now some points for MCQs. The humming insects don't disturb his rest. Whose rest is referred to here? The humming insects don't disturb his rest. Whose rest? Looking very simple, right? But these simple things will be difficult in the examination hall if you don't read it well. So remember this. The humming insects don't disturb his rest. Whose rest? The rest of the young soldier. And put in his side there are what? In his side there are 2 holes. There are 2 black holes. There are 2 black holes. There are 2 red holes. It may be important. One question may be made from this place. No trouble at all for this type of question. No trouble for making the question. No trouble for giving the answer. So you have to read these few lines very carefully, and then there will be no problem. Okay students, let's stop here today. We will soon come back with a question answer session. There we'll see how to write the answers to the questions in the exam hall. Read the poem well again and again to keep yourself ready for that session and lesson. Bye.